It's a lot of humble pie being served by Mother Universe.
Right. Has that been your experience? That's always a good one.
Yeah, every day, and it's not like heavy doses. I mean, but I don't know. It's a combination of humble pie and gratitude, surrender,
Yes,
surrender,
yes.
gratitude.
Oh,
Some new
yeah.
word
Yes.
that
Some new
contains it
word.
all. Yeah, because it's like crazy. I saw somebody the other day. They were like, they had. I saw it on a post, and it was actually pretty good. It was some guy I'd never seen before, and he said, "There's 6 steps. The way I see it happening, it comes in, then you kind of get knocked around. I forget the different stages." But as he went through it, he said, and he really did a great job describing the integration and then the expansion. And then at the end, he said, and now in step 6, what normally happens is there's a period of 2 or 3 weeks, but now step 1 is occurring in the middle of step 6. So like it's all becoming one fluid motion, you know?
Groundhog Day.
Right. Yes. There is an aspect of that, isn't there? It's
Yes.
for a star seed. That's going to be a great movie after this trip is over. Somebody's going to make a great movie in the cosmos. Groundhog Day of Starseed. I don't want to be here. I'm not from here. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. What else? I talk to myself. I see things. I
I
wake up
see.
with my third eye's all red like a star. This is what's happening. Yeah.
Oh, it's too
It's good to
funny.
see you.
You
Minute 40.
too.
Yeah, we're in. We got what do we got? 22 people in the house.
Oh, hello everyone. Hi,
Yeah,
Jen. I can see my friend Jen there.
yeah, yeah. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes. I guess we're not liked by the algorithms. Nobody gets any
Neither am
notices.
I. I'm not liked by the algorithms either. Gee.
So we talked what, like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think so.
It was very cool. The first time we ever talked, and
That was lovely.
a lot's happened since then. I mean, a lot. Of course, there's been a lot of what do you call it when you look back to 2020, and 2020 was like bigger than everything since 2012 combined, and then the first 4 months of 2021 have been gargantuan compared to 2020. Are you
Correct.
going through? How's it going for you? How's it happening for you?
Oh gosh, it's funny. I feel stiller and calmer.
Hmm.
But actually, it's having. I definitely went through. I mean, I think we talked about this last time at the beginning of when the pandemic lockdown
Oh,
was announced, and
yeah.
it finally hit me. Okay, here it is. Here's the great culling.
Mm,
Been spoken about forever.
mm,
I certainly went into catatonic meltdown for humanity, and then that went through its waves all last year. But personally, I am feeling calmer and cooler than ever.
mm.
I don't know exactly what that is, Todd. I wish
So
I could
now,
explain.
what part of Australia are you in?
I'm living in Bellingen, which is a small town in New South Wales.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you're yeah. So because New South Wales is above Victoria, or is it the other way around?
that's
But I mean,
correct.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys kind of brought it in really in Australia. I mean, as far as this time last year and throughout the year, they were really like in the
Mm.
news every day.
Yeah,
Have you
Melbourne.
noticed? I mean, is it? I mean, have you noticed what's it like a year later? I mean, are people chilling out with it?
I think overall there is a chill out. Like Melbourne, is the capital city of our state down south, Victoria. Is definitely governed by a dictator who's right in the pocket of the Chinese Communist Party. So they got smashed, absolutely
Oh, I
smashed.
know they did.
Brothers and sisters down there, yeah. And it
Yeah,
has loosened. It has let up as truth is coming out.
yeah,
As more and more truth and more exposure is happening, the thing is loosening everywhere. I think, though, of course, there'll be those that are heavily controlled and are not necessarily here to walk into the new earth with us. They're probably experiencing maybe the same levels of fear, or I don't know. I'm not sure,
mm,
but I don't feel in the field like nearly as much
Hmm.
aberration, fear, panic as happening
I
last
think
year.
it's in its own way pushing people towards personal sovereignty.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Where people are like going, this doesn't make any sense. And actually, there's a lot of things. I think this election over here has kind of died down, but a lot of people had to kind of unhook from certain belief systems and
Mm.
narratives. And again, I mean, we close all these doors until it's just us, right?
Right? I'm
Like,
loving that over, watching the stats, of, like the Oscars, the ratings of the Oscars, how dramatically that has dropped for the
mm-hmm,
last couple of years. But from last year to this year, it's just plummeted. CNN plummeting,
mm-hmm.
like humanity, we're unplugging. We're like, sorry,
Yeah,
we're
that's
not
right.
doing it anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, this thing's going to break wide open. I really think it's going to break wide open. I think we're going to be doing things that are even someone in this community, even someone that's been awake a long time.
Mm.
That 5 years ago, if you would have said, "We'll be physically teleporting, we'll be, doing these things that are supernatural," I think we will. I think
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We talked a little bit about my my closest comrade, Liz Gilbert Grant, and we are both certain that in our lifetime we will see humanity freed. I don't think it's generations ahead. I think we're going to start seeing us. I mean, really, all we need to do is free energy.
We are the free energy.
When energy's super freed, like really freed on a planet, the whole thing, freedom will rip, because
right.
that is the main control. I mean, like energy, they have controlled it and therefore controlled every energetic flow on the planet. So, it's very exciting.
Until now. Now people and it's not going to be the 100th monkey either. It's going to be the one monkey effect. Because the first time somebody busts through, it's going to take off. It's actually already happening.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been an interesting 12 months since this all popped out, because you can see what we thought was the literal or the physical or the 3D, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, you can see in the energetic field how everybody's been affected, whether you're in a light worker community or not. And there's been solitude. There's been conversations with family you may have been living with that you hadn't really had a talk with. There's been people pulled out of 9 to 5s. Kids are home. So there's a lot of stuff energetically that those things support. Detaching or unplugging, like you said.
Correct. Yes, I think even, as we were saying last time we chatted, Todd, this is a universal, this is a cosmic process. This is not a human process. This is not a political process. We know that this is a universe, this is a galactic process. Mm-hmm. And so no one escapes this.
That's right. That's what I keep saying. Nobody gets out alive and nobody gets left behind. And nobody gets out alive means you got to face every single thing there is. I mean, you're right. It is bigger than all, like you said, but the human's on point somehow. Yes. Like that's the biggest, that's the biggest prize. It's like, yeah. But we have to engage it, don't we? We have to.
I don't know. That's a very good question, because I mean, I'm just thinking now about our brothers and sisters who are in absolute catatonic fear and running toward the jabs, and or suiciding, or people who are leaving, souls that are leaving. That is them aligning to closer truth.
True.
Also. It's not so much that it's like, well, you stay, for the new earth in a body, or you jump ship. Like, it's even those people that are leaving because of their choices and their sovereign choices. Although they might not see it to be like that, from the level of awareness they have, you know, they are aligning with greater truth as well through those choices. So it's like what we're saying, like no one is escaping this, no matter what the choice is
True.
we make, we are all moving forward.
That's right. That's how the universe works.
Yeah.
Can't stand still. You can't let the grass grow under your feet. I mean, but I don't know. I just find it absolutely amazing. Even if I just look at the last week or two or month, and then if you look back over, you know, a lot of people came into this 2012 thereabouts, and if you look at where we were 10 years ago, if you look at the posts that are put up, if you look at the, I mean, it's we're kicking ass. You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to mince any words, but seriously, we're coming out in a way. I think that's
yes.
Yeah.
It's our time. It's our time. We are supported. The light is the winning team, and we are supported. And so now we are safer and safer than ever to speak out, stand out, lead, shine, and speak truth. You know, now it's like there's the threat of being hung, drawn, quartered, you know, like bird at the stake, you know, stab, all the awful things that we've all gone through, you know, in the name of truth. I mean, still, you know, they're throwing stones and rocks. They're trying to censor us, you know, they are still hunting people that are speaking the truth. But I don't know. It's unstoppable now. The truth and the truth wave it's like unstoppable.
It's a groundswell. It's a groundswell, and it's under the radar. So those that get out on these platforms that have a really large following, that say anything, they've gotten hammered. But there's this groundswell of people that don't even get in front of the camera. I mean, we're talking about a huge creative life force that's just said, you know, what can you do to me? You can't do anything to me. I'm an eternal soul. I mean, so we're going to make the best of it now. Let's see what happens. But and you can see it. You can see it deconstructing. I think it takes a little longer to see what we're all accomplishing as in combination of our physical efforts and non-physical. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I work in human trafficking, in like rehabilitating victims of.
Wow. No, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So
how long have you been doing that?
Not long, but it all came about from that TV show in America that I was on. I don't know if you know about that either, but anyway.
Tell me about it.
I was on a TV show in America. The first season last year came out. It's called Lost Resort. You guys can stream it on HBO Max. And it's about natural healing. Like it's, you know, it's reality. There's a lot of drama in there, but really at the end of the day, it's a great show. It brings natural healing modalities to the mainstream. So you'll really enjoy it, I reckon, Todd. But as a result of that, a survivor of the torture trafficking rings saw that and reached out to me. And as a result of our connection, I created Project Angel. Anyway, to cut a story short, because that's a big topic, I am also seeing the truth wave, the unstoppable truth wave that we're talking about. And, you know, in that area, which, you know, to me personally, human trafficking and the child sex trafficking, the adrenochroming, the torture rings, like that's the darkest of the dark. That is the darkest of the dark on earth. Stop. There's no darker. And so it's like when we see that really being exposed more and more and more, then we know we're winning. You know, like we can, you know, there's political corruption and all that, but that's been, you know, but like the exposure and the awakening around that satanic stuff is very exciting because, again, it's unstoppable. So we're seeing victims and survivors of that coming out on social media platforms and being very bold and saying, I don't care for my life and you can't pay me off and I know the names of the politicians. And, do you know, and like they're popping up.
I saw that last year. Last year I saw that somebody, I think Morgan had told me about it, that Jeffrey Epstein, I think it was on Netflix, and it was the women, and they were telling their stories, and it was exactly what you're talking about. They were like, I don't care, F this, I'm just going to tell you like it is. And it was amazing. I cried at the very end. It was just amazing. But yeah,
Oh,
so that's to me, that's like a physical representation
mm,
of the divine feminine energy rising in all of us, first to be seen,
mm,
naturally and mostly in women. And
mm,
that presence, that whole field of experience is a totally different method of communication and connection. And so, you know what I mean? It's coming into the field
yeah.
with the revelations of, what's not cool out there. Because that's one thing everyone's said from the beginning, as
Mm,
far as I'm concerned, or what I've read or remember, and that
mm.
is everything will be revealed. So, you know,
Yep. And those that are involved will not be able to walk down the street.
yeah.
And
Papa Bush
unfortunately,
said that.
yeah, yeah, right.
Papa Bush said if they find out, they will hunt us down,
Yeah,
quote unquote.
yeah. No,
Um,
he's part of it. Yeah. So like it's coming out, and it's for me, like, if we look at that issue sort of metaphysically, what excites me so much as a medicine woman, and as a mama, as a cosmic mama, as a fierce mama, lioness,
mm,
I can feel now more than ever humanity is aware of each other. We are, and that's one of the results that's come out of last year, is that we are more and more conscious of each other, more and more conscious of our brothers and sisters on the other side of the world, and how are they doing in there,
mm,
and Jesus, what's
mm,
happening in India, and like, we are actually united.
yeah.
This pandemic has united us, and we see this rising of divine parenthood,
Mm,
the energy within all of us, whether we're a parent or not, that wants to guard and protect
mm,
our vulnerable members. And so, in this human trafficking, I can feel it, just, even just in my community, mamas rising, their blood
yeah.
boiling, saying
Yeah, that's the
no
mother. That's what I was going to
way.
say. That's the mother energy,
That's it.
because the mother energy is unconditional. It doesn't matter. I've been saying this all week.
Right.
Mother has a kid, goes to prison. That mother's never going to give up on that kid. Doesn't matter what they do.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that I hadn't thought about what you said though. I hadn't thought about looking at the disclosure of it,
Mm.
because one thing I've noticed, being a good thing, right? Because I'm
Yep.
looking at this lately and I'm going, okay, because I like to see what they're trying to tell you. But I've
Yes.
noticed every day UFOs, every
Yep.
day.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, well, they're going to fake an alien invasion. But the other
Yep.
things that are coming out, like what you talked about with the Oscars,
Mm.
Hollywood, I saw a
Mm.
couple of hatchet pieces on Hollywood in the last week. So it's
Mm.
almost like they're disclosing themselves, right?
Mm.
It's weird. So I'm like going, okay, is
Mm.
that just the truth frequency permeating
Mm.
through whatever? Because it's
Mm.
happening whether we like it or not. I don't know. It's just
Yes.
interesting.
Good question.
Mm,
I think about that too. Really, at the moment, there's so much, how to put it, um, we don't really know all the time who's working on what team. Do you know, like, even people that we have thought were white hats or allies
mhm,
for a very long time aren't.
mhm.
And so I think we just all have to trust our instincts, but also, most definitely, at the same time, we are seeing redemption and redeeming of souls happening, within the people that have been working and contracting with shadow,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
are also sick of it. Do you know,
That's a very good point. The instant transformation, which is
yeah,
really instant manifestation,
mm,
like the Christians say, born again, or you
mm,
could say turn the page. I mean, at any point, somebody can wake up and to have that type of outlook, that's a respect that only comes with raising your frequency. I mean, that's for you to be able to say that. That's very powerful. How
mm,
did you? This is really interesting. So, because I know you're lit and I know your story, and so was it part of? I mean, like it feels to me like this work that you're doing on the human trafficking, assisting with that
mm,
therapeutically. I think is what you're saying, and
yeah,
and you being a light worker, these labels, but you know what I mean.
Mm.
But you being, tuned in here, it seems like are they related? Did you get a download? I need to go do this, or was it just a feeling you had?
It's a good question. At least 20 years I've been very aware that my job is to transmute the darkness, like a lot of healers or light workers, but warrior styles. Like I've considered myself a frontliner with the awful energies, because I'm brave. That's just part of my makeup, being triple Aries and all sorts of things. Like I'm just like, let's go, And so I can remember. So I do that with people. Like I'd want to get down to the bottom of the heavy energies, and I've been working with that. Emotional transmutation is kind of one of my fortes, but I can really closely remember being in the Andes with one of my masters over there years and years ago, and I said to him, Puma, I just want to work in the heaviest jails. I want to go in there and I want to make those people feel understood. I want to turn around, the people that are the most misunderstood on the planet, that commit the horrific crimes and everything, because they haven't been loved and they have been just locked away and not understood. I want to work with that energy. I want to go in and turn that. And I said this to him, and he was just kind of like, I think he kind of said, just be careful what you wish for.
That's what I was thinking when you said that. I was thinking of some of the decisions I made.
Yeah, but that was always been my sort of focus. I want to go in and turn, that's what fire main means, my spirit name. It's a comet that is willing to go into the darkness. So
that's a really really interesting. That's the second time I've heard somebody say what you just said. The first time was like 2,000 episodes ago. This really powerful lady came on, and she came on without her face, and she came out, and she was an attorney. And she had been incest, 9, 10, I mean, young, like maybe 12, right? And had a baby, and they had this whole story. But I want to say, like at 20 years old, 21 years old, she's walking on her undergraduate campus, and she, I guess, got like a download. And she said the same thing. She became an attorney representing the most decrepit, the rapist, the murder. I was like, whoa. And that's what she's dedicated her life to, but doing it like you, from an energetic, first, right?
Yes.
That's powerful. That's powerful conscious creation, transformation.
Well, I mean, I'm not actually, so with the human trafficking stuff that I'm doing, I am only working to rehabilitate the victims and the survivors coming out. I'm very aware that I don't want to step further down my ley lines toward the energetics that they have escaped from.
But you're stepping, you're stepping into a space where they've experienced it. And so to me, you're like doing the same thing. You're actually taking it on.
Yeah.
And you're doing it in a way that's balanced for you. Yes. You don't have to go to I get that. That's why when you said that, your master said, be careful what you ask for. You put the brakes on it. And and I would have too. And I have in my life. I was thinking about it. I was laughing. Very cool. So you find it, so you when you're working with these survivors, is it like your energy sessions when you do energy work? I mean, is there an energetic approach, or how's that going?
Good question. I'm using every tool I know to help these people, because the trauma is obviously the greatest of anything I have ever experienced. Like, it's been the steepest learning curve of my life the last 6 months, like exponential. And I'm using all my any tool I have to help them, but the number one tool is a mother's love. The number one tool is love. These people have not had love. They have no reference for love, no reference for safety. No, like, that just doesn't make sense. They don't, some of these people were horrifically abused from the age of 2, and then sold into trafficking and were in cages for decades, tortured daily. I mean, the stories that I have put my hand up to hold in my heart and to transmute. I mean, obviously, it's nothing compared to experiencing them.
Yeah.
But yeah, every tool.
Are you
every tool?
Yeah. So, and I know you're very sensitive. Do you have experiences in these sessions, as you might in in a session like you might do for someone like me, where you see the higher self or you see the soul? I mean, these must be as dark as this is. They must be incredible souls, like illuminated, like just
you got it.
Profound.
They're masters. They're masters. That's how I see them. These people that have walked into that much darkness on a soul level, they are masters, and they are masters of light, and they are masters of love. And I absolutely hold them, not on a pedestal, because that doesn't.
No, I get it. Reverence.
But like that is what I know. Yeah. I know that these people are here to teach us about unconditional love. Like I just, one of the people I'm working with, who is very, very dear to my heart, she has no hatred in her heart for any of these people that, I mean, and I can't even begin to tell you what she went through. Like it's so sickening and dark and horrific. It's just, it's worse than any horror film, and it was daily.
Yeah.
And she has no hatred. And it's like, who are you? You are a master. And I know she has big purpose with humanity. And so I'm helping her to get back on her feet and understand love and feel safe in the world again, so she can blast that heart.
Do you ever pick up on any galactic stuff, like when you're in these sessions? Like anything like that ever happen?
Yes. Oh, totally. I mean, the influencing forces of these rings is galactic. They're obviously from off planet.
True.
So, but as I said, and I have my light team, that we're going in there together. I'm certainly not working alone. But as I said, I'm quite conscious not to worry too much about what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just reclaiming the souls into the light, and that dissolves their game.
And and I would bet you're probably observing some incredible transformation.
Oh God.
These people. Yeah. It's a powerful thing.
It's so beautiful, Todd, watching what love does.
Yeah.
What love does to, the winds are, it works. Love works. Love heals.
Yeah. It does.
So heavily.
It does.
Love is healing them. And
yeah, it's true. It's true. When my life flipped upside down, there's a lot of stuff happening. Family broke up. First time I didn't have kids in the house for 23 years. and we went through some tough times. We were on welfare, and but anyway, I remember one of my kids, who'd been obviously influenced by somebody, said to me, and you said all we need is love, because I was being criticized for not being able to do whatever. And I said, no, that's not what I said. I said, if you don't have love, you got nothing. And to me, that's always been, the truth. What you said. I mean, it's amazing. Morgan and Yvonnya and whoever shows up are having this, what do they call it? Sacred circle, unification, silence. In other words, they're bringing that same energy that you're talking about. Well, you said it. You said, there's a lot. I use all my tools, but the one thing I use is the mother's love, right?
Yeah.
Like this is the seed of creation, right? And so they're going to gather in a circle and just allow the energy to take over, just like you do with a client, just like you do with your girlfriend.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And to me, like when I heard the idea, I was like, wow, that's actually what's happening. It's not the voice as we would think of the mother goddess. It's the voice, the silent voice. It's the energy. It's the same thing you're providing these people, which is awakening it within themselves. So this is to me what's happening this year now is this feminine's really starting to come in, and as a result, the masculine energy is starting to be more available.
Yeah, it's
Clued
beautiful.
in. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, that's powerful what you're doing. So, I mean, do you have people helping you, or do
I
you?
need people helping me, and in fact, we run off donations.
Okay.
So anyone out there who's keen to help these victims with me, please donate. Please do a fundraiser in your town, like raise some money, bake some cakes, like do whatever you can to donate to Project Angel. Every cent goes to healing these people. So healing them is not just sessions with me, it's flights. We get them out of Dodge when they're being hunted.
How do you find them? Is there like a network?
Yeah, they have networks. That, you know, the first lady who got in touch with me through the show, she's obviously connected. So they come to me and Project Angel through her. But I tell you what, they don't come quickly, meaning they're so not used to love and support that it's very hard for them to even reach out. And you know, these people are literally being hunted, and by the mafia, by, you know, by, we don't even want to talk about it. And they so desperately need our help and to come into the fold of light and love, but they don't feel they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So there's like, I am, you know, just holding this space, waiting, praying on them to come, and they just gently dribble in when. So it's not like there's a lot of them out there, but getting them even into help is not easy. And it's so anyhow.
I would imagine there's got to be some initiatives all around the world with it being such a big issue, and some of those coordinated with each other. I would think, because
Yes.
because even if you look at just the energetics of it, the disclosure you were talking about, but also the energy pushing the transformation. I mean, so it would only make sense that would be happening in the literal physical experience, that people would be working together to do this. That's fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. There's groups all over. But, you know, from what I understand from these survivors who do know the arena, because they're coming out, and they say that there's very little help for them that doesn't lock them in as lunatics, psychopaths, want to medicate them. Like there's very little, very like big picture spiritual assistance for them. Does that make sense?
No,
So there's like next to no beds, there's next to no support, and when they do, you know, as I said, like quite often they're locked up, they're drugged, they're locked up, they're made crazy, and so they don't go anywhere near help because they're scared of being locked up in another cage.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of accounts or women speaking on YouTube, and at least a couple where they got out and then they went back and then they got out again. So I mean, it's
This is it. Like, you know, what I've learned is that a lot of them will go back to the torture because it's what they know.
Yeah.
And it's safer than being out in this world where there's no support. They don't understand the rules, they don't understand, and then they will go back.
It's another
tragic is that.
Yeah.
That they go back, and we're all sipping lattes in cafes. Part of our human family are so desperately tortured and traumatized, and we don't even see it. We don't even know. A lot of people don't want to know about it. They actually think this is all still a kind of conspiracy theory or a story. that this is going on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's very, very serious. It's also interesting, to look at the energies of it because, as you described, as we were talking about that, the going back and the way you explained it, it's the same pattern we're breaking out of, right? I mean, it really is. And so these people, these profound masters that as you said, these people are embodying that transformation in a very hard way, and that's, these are. They're both. It's strange. They're both the victim and the leader. I mean, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
So every soul on earth is amazing. Period. But
Yes.
I mean, some of these journeys are just incredible.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I absolutely with you, hands down. I'm constantly, truly shocked to my core about who these souls truly are,
Yeah.
and the service to humanity that they are walking. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and you said it best. You said it best with that one lady. These are the types of souls that, when the shift hits the fan and everything is totally revealed and so on, they'll have the most compassion.
Yeah.
Right. Just like that lady didn't have any bad feelings towards her abusers. This is symptomatic of the new energy, the influence of the goddess energy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's really it's the greatest honor to be with these people and to be a mama to them and guide them out. Like yeah.
So it started with one lady sees you on a TV show.
Yeah.
And that was Lost Resort.
Yes.
And she sees you, and I guess you were demonstrating a modality or something. And so she saw that. I mean, you weren't even specifically talking about what you ended up doing and what she ended up contacting you about, right?
No, I mean, yeah, on that show, I'm just the lead healer at a retreat. So we're doing this, that, and the other. I'm doing my psychotherapeutic sessions on that show. So she could see and feel what was happening in those. It was a feeling. It's a feeling. She could sense there was some freedom happening. There was some depth. There was real depth happening in these sessions, and that's what she said. I was her last resort. Literally, she was about to go back to the cage. She was about to go back to her traffickers.
That's absolutely fascinating that she reached out to you.
I know, and she tried like scores and scores and scores of psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, Reiki masters, all these other light workers that think they're all about love, and all of them palmed her off. Every single one said no, and they didn't. What really? I mean, I understand that it's a lot for people. Like a lot of people don't feel they're up to transmuting or helping this kind of stuff. But what really upset me, Todd, is that not one of them said to her, "I'm sorry, I don't feel I've got what it takes to help you, but I want to help you, and I will help you find that person." None of them took the time to even do that, and they're all people that call themselves carers and healers. I just don't understand where humanity's gotten to.
Well, they're obviously plugged into the other side of the veil. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and it's such a, but I mean, it is challenging for us to embody, our multidimensionality, our higher self, however you want to put it, and hold in our line of vision these atrocities. I mean, that in itself is, indicative of the humbling experience this is, because at some level we don't know it all, and it all makes sense. It's the same faith that we've operated our lives in. I think it's just going to get more and more interesting. And to me, it feels like we've got everything going our way. Everything will be brought into balance, and we drive the machine, each one of us.
Yes.
I mean, through our, It's amazing. It's amazing what you're doing. It's
Oh,
amazing.
thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful to have your support.
Yeah. So somebody put up the website a second ago, but let me put it on all the platforms.
That would have been Jen.
What's the name of the what's the name of the website?
Well, it's actually the Project Angel is found on the Mana Movement website. It's got its own page there. So it's www.themanamovement.org.
MANNA.
Just one N. MANA.
MANA. Okay.
.org / project angel.
Angel.
Yeah, or if you just go to themanamovement.org,
you'll find it really easy.
And there's a 10-minute video there, which is mostly audio, which is this said survivor that found me talking about her experience as a survivor of torture trafficking and not being able to find help in the world. And then her experience of coming to Project Angel, me, and, she just came to me as a client, Todd, initially, and I started to see her as a client. And then through our connection and understanding the plight of these people, Project Angel was born from that, like really quite quickly it dropped in, right? Chrissie, you got to create something, where not only where we can help more of them, but that where the community can be a part of it, because I know so many people very strongly about this issue, but don't know how to help. How do you help? There's a lot of organizations out there that are bells and whistles who aren't doing the right thing, unfortunately. It's tragic. People are giving a lot of money to these organizations in the States, and apparently they're involved in trafficking.
Absolutely. All the big ones. But see, and that's the thing. And again, you hear we've already done this in the energetic field. Now it's going to play out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so you look for the physical proof of that, right? And so I still say that there's like this groundswell. There's this whole thing that's been injected into what we might call our commerce or the financial template, and that is people paying it forward, people supporting platforms like this and causes like yours. And I think that's part of that you don't hear about that. You don't hear, you see big articles, saying, oh my God, people are gifting money to each other. And it's, you don't see that, but it's got to be making an effect, just like we are with everything that we're doing in our, as we follow through on our guidance. Yeah.
Correct. I used to, when I was coming out with Project Angel and wanting to launch it on pretty much the only social media platform I'm active on these days, which is Instagram, I was concerned because I've been banned and shadow banned on all sorts of places on Instagram. And I got really down about the fact that there's censorship going on about this issue, because obviously all those guys are involved in trafficking. So, I mean, how tragic and frustrating that we can't even get the news out about this because they censor it. And then I just, like we all do, you just have to go, whatever. I'm just going to keep shining my light about it. I'm going to keep talking about it. And even if it reaches 2, 5, 10, 20 people, it will grow organically how it needs to. And it is, a lot of people have chipped in and given $20, $10, $50. Some people have even given $500. I'm sort of putting it out there for, the big people to come along and, chuck in 50 to 100 grand, which is change for a lot of people.
Look, it's all coming. I mean, it's so crazy as we pick up the trail or the scent of our guidance, and we're making this happen. You're making this happen. I mean, Soulogy's happen. So many people, all this work all this preparation, it's time has come to put it into motion, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
And it's like, for me, it's like, how do you get there? Because I know it doesn't work the same way. And it's almost like you got to let go of how you think it's going to happen. And the reason I brought that up is because I had the same thing. I was like somebody's going to see this great work that we're doing here in our intentions, but I don't know, this whole thing is changing in every aspect. And it all really comes down to eventually, I mean, how we manifest. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
and whether it be transforming an individual, bringing attention to and transforming the situation that you're involved with, or anything else. It's just I found that I'm having to surrender to what I think, and then when I
Yes.
do, if you can't fake that, then it starts to come in. You know, I don't
Yes.
know.
Yes. Yes.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. But it's all rewriting itself, isn't it? We, like you said, we have to let go. We can't
Mm,
control. We don't want to
mm.
control. We're just we're in the wave. All we can do is ride it. All we can do is jump on the surfboards and keep riding this wave to the
That's
best of our
right.
ability.
That's right. Maximize the big kahuna that we're on.
And pick
Yeah.
up as many,
Mm.
stragglers as want to be picked up along the way and whack them on the
Man,
floor.
the more time that goes on, I can't even. I mean, I guess we do. We all serve. That's part of this this frequency or this experience that's occurring. That's part of it. It's service. It's service to self, service to others, service to the collective.
Mm.
You know, I mean, but like as time goes on, all I can do is keep my eyes on the road and stay in my own lane. And that's just a part of it that you got to stay on yourself the whole time.
Yeah, good on you. But that's mastery, Todd, staying in
Mm-hmm.
your own lane. Most people don't know how to stay in their own lane. And if only they did, it's like,
Well, it's like a lot less painful if you do. You have a lot less drama, a lot less chaos.
yes.
I mean, this is a multi-dimensional. This is becoming a multi-dimensional human experience, and there's just so many different streams popping up, and it's just all changing so rapidly. The lady that was on earlier today, basically was saying you wake up and there's a new truth, and everything goes out the window.
Isn't that fun? Isn't
Yeah.
that good? We've got to be ready to reinvent our own idea of ourselves
Hmm.
and humanity and Earth. Yeah,
Mm,
swiftly now. I think you're right.
mm.
It's can't hold on to anything with this amount of exponential growth going on. We just got to keep just keep showing up with like the fool, like the fool in the tarot.
Hey, that's the
Let's
smartest one,
go.
isn't it? The way I
Huh?
I don't know much about tarot, but isn't the fool like the best card?
He's a legend. He's like a
Yeah.
child. He's the child. He's the
Yeah.
child in the forest going, "Woo! I know nothing." And isn't that great?
Right on. So, do you have anything coming up? Anything you're doing online? Anything like that
Yes.
you want
Yes, I
to?
do. And gosh, we've got lots of people rolling in for it as of a week ago. I had a
Mm,
training last week and me and Liz really sort of took the lid off our own experience. And I always see as a result of that, a lot of people end up coming our way. So we have a 1 month online journey coming up May 24. It's called Pathway to Freedom. And it's a total game changer.
right
It
on.
just really is. It's like it changes all your relationships, all your life. Like it's nothing to do with learning. I just want to say that to people. It's got
Hmm.
nothing to do with learning, intellect, writing, none of that. It's all like literally sort of wisdoms and concepts delivered orally in webinar through story, experiential story that
Mm,
literally change you in your seat. Led by my greatest inspiration in love wisdom, which is Liz Gilbert Grant, and join us because it's powerful. It's 1 month, 10 webinars, all online. Students around the world. Doesn't matter what your schedule is because they're all recorded and sent to you.
mm.
You can't be there, and yeah, like almost can definitely say money back guarantee. Like there's no way you won't get a huge amount out of it. So
Right on.
come.
Right on. And that's interesting too. The way the expression of what we might call information or instruction or teaching or whatever, how it's changing. Like people put images together of light language they receive. People do light language with their hands to music. I mean, there's all these different ways,
Mm.
that the vibrations coming in, the frequencies, to sound, colors, and
Mm.
and even in the type of stuff that you do and I do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
it's like that's changing too. That's why I'm excited to see like this thing Friday, because what's going to happen? what's going to happen what happens when two people come together and they have a mutual dimensional experience.
Mm-hmm.
And women have been doing this for years, and this is the energy that's coming up. So what happens when there's a womb created of these types of energies, right? I think
Yes.
this is the kind of initiatives that we're going to see in a lot of different ways, where that intuition, that compassion you're talking about earlier, the mother's love, the spontaneity, the unity, produce manifestations that take on a physicality,
Right.
but using methods that we've not used since before they started burning all of you.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think that really what we're coming back to is spiritual transmission that bypasses obviously the mind. There's so much sort of self-development and spiritual and life coaching and all this stuff that's touted to help people, but it's mostly mind to mind, and there's no expansion there at all. And so, I just know that when we literally sort of or proverbially sit around a fire together as humans and come into circle and have what you just shared as a group or shared, what did you say? A shared multidimensional experience or shared, that is where it's at. And that is, what Liz and I are doing with these journeys. It's
Well, I mean, it makes sense. There's a reason Stonehenge is in a circle.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at like, okay, we know what's out there, but what's coming too? I mean, let's not forget that. Let's not forget what's out there, but what's coming? We're not being shown these extremes of duality and becoming more aware of everything. Because with that awareness, there's parallels such as our aptitude, let's say in the spiritual realms, our ability to manifest, our ability to be powerful quantum creators, conscious creators. And what's that going to bring? You know what I mean? That's powerful.
Yes. And look, I just hope it's very simple, actually, because that's where the power is. That's where our power is as a humanity. It's in the simplicity of love.
Yeah.
Do you know, like we talk about this a lot in these circles that we have, Liz and I, if you think about it, or if you look out your window, we have plants and flowers and trees that are constantly communicating to us, literally constantly communicating to us, but none of us are picking it up. And it's like, really all we need to do is come back to an awareness of that.
That's right.
Like in constant connection, and that we do best as a humanity in ecocentric society. We talk about this a lot, where we are aware of each other. I hope that's what the future is. Simply that.
Which you can only do if you stay in your own lane. That's the whole point. That's why getting out in nature, just from an energetic standpoint, not even considering the natural symmetry of nature, but just, you go out into nature, you're not watching, you're just not exposed to even this. I mean, all of this is good. We're gathering information in all things we do, but nothing overrides what I call the I am soul. Well, I mean, what got us here, right? Who am I? What am I? What's going on? What am I a part of? So we're finding out. Yeah, we really are. I mean, it would make sense that in an unveiling, based on the experience that we've had, that there would be, for every degree of disclosure of the things we don't want to look at, there's going to be a degree of on the other side of it, which is our skills, abilities, experience, and all that. I'm excited. It's good seeing you again. And
you too.
I wish you the best always in all your endeavors and all your loved ones. All blessings to you. Thank you so much for coming in and honoring us with your presence and sharing space with us.
An absolute honor. Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you for the invitation. You go well also. Thank you for your service.
You take care.
Okay.
Peace out, everybody.